listening to STR, the Sandy Times Radio. Culture, music, and beyond.
Can't tell why you're coveting that designer bag? Keep on listening. The Sandy Times is exploring the rich history of signature bags and how fashion houses successfully translated their legacy to fit our modern lifestyle. Girl maths? Hi everyone, this is the Eat Bag Fashion Podcast on STR. This season, we explore iconic accessories. Each episode will explore one of the hottest bags on the market. Today, we dive into the world of Hermès. Turn the volume up. On July 28, 2024, Le Figaro reported 11 Hermès bags stolen from a relative of Qatar Emir on French TGV. The concerned Qatari royal denied these claims. She declared them as fake news. But is it really that unimaginable? After all, it is not the first time that luxury and sports meet. In fact, the Jaguar Formula One team almost staged the Ocean 12 in real life at the 2004 Monaco Grand Prix. We all remember how it ended. Someone might have become the Richie Rich because that diamond was worth $400,000. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the annual salary of the US president. Listen, the diamonds were used as a marketing stunt. Although God knows why one wants to take that risk. But then, what about the Birkin case? Why would a lady need 11 bags when traveling? Hasn't she heard of traveling light? Or is she used to being charged for extra weight? Why did she specifically pick Birkin bags? Would she have managed to wear them all out? What would have been the estimate of her loss if the story ended up being true? And finally, would she at least have been covered by the insurance? Going once, going twice, sold. In fact, you'd be surprised, but a great number of rare and one-of-a-kind Birkin bags are actually insured. Especially those who are sold during auctions like the one at Hong Kong Christie's in 2016. It was a white crocodile Hermès Diamond Himalaya Birkin 30 bag. It went for a whopping $281,500. If you don't believe us, find the link to Christie's auction report in the description of this episode. This hefty price tag is a testament to the Birkin's legacy. The bag has transcended its basic function. It became an investment as important as cars and jewelry. In fact, numbers show that most of the bought Birkins are not even worn, like never. They are either stored in highly fashionable closets or kept in the most advanced safes and sophisticated vaults. Jane Birkin, the woman who gave her name to the handbag, actually knew how valuable this creation had become. In the last decade, she sold not one, but 4 of the purses that were given her by Hermès, earning more than $500,000. The unexpected upgrade. Now, we have heard the name Birkin, but not everyone knows the story. In 1983, the young British-French actress Jane Birkin was upgraded and seated next to the then president of Hermès, Jean-Louis Dumas. Back then, Jane was known for always carrying her straw bucket bag. The story goes as follows. As she was preparing to sit, she searched into her bag for her daily planner, and several papers flew out. The kind man sitting next to her noticed it. Out of courtesy, he suggested that she should buy an agenda with pockets. Jane replied, "Hermès don't make them with pockets." Unfazed, the man uttered, "I am Hermès." This was the beginning of a multi-million-dollar story. Seizing this opportunity, Mrs. Birkin encouraged Monsieur Dumas to design a handbag to carry her personal belongings. She demanded something that is bigger, lighter, but as stunning as the Kelly bag. Intrigued, Monsieur Dumas asked Jane to outline her vision of an ideal handbag. Excited, she drew the first draft on the back of a standard airplane sick bag. Spaciness was the cornerstone of this creation. As a young mother of 3, Jane's design reflected her personal need to have a roomy purse that would fit several baby bottles. Once back in France, Dumas shared this idea with the Hermès artisans. It took them 4 weeks to come up with the cardboard prototype. Jane was invited to Paris for a first reveal. After reviewing the proposed design, she gave it her green light. Therefore, in another genius marketing move, the French luxury house decided to name the handbag after her. Flattered, she accepted with great pleasure. Within 12 months, the Birkin became a reality and was commercialized. The very first handbag was directly gifted to Jane Birkin herself by her airplane seat neighbor, Jean-Louis Dumas. From elegant Kelly to casual Birkin. This wasn't Hermès' first bag named after an international actress and style icon. These ladies became loyal clients and great brand ambassadors. Before Jane Birkin, there was Grace Kelly. In fact, the Sac à Dépêche was officially rebranded in 1977 as The Kelly, in homage to the Princess of Monaco. It is well known that she used and abused her Hermès bag to breaking point. And we are not surprised. After all, who wouldn't agree that a comfortable accessory becomes an extension of us? Let's compare the two handbag icons of the brand. In terms of features, the Kelly has one handle, the Birkin has two, but no shoulder straps. Kelly is more structured and has to be carried shut to avoid putting too much weight on the single handle. Meanwhile, the Birkin can be worn half open for a more casual look. Both creations reflect two drastically different styles. The Kelly is the embodiment of refinement, and the Birkin is designed to be elegantly versatile. The Birkin can complement a dressy fit and also perfectly pair with a jean and a t-shirt. By the way, did you know that the current trend of bag charms was started by Jane Birkin herself? She was the first to decorate her bag with scarves, jewelry, stickers, and charms. Jane Birkin was a fashion movement. With a front page place in fashion history books, the Birkin is the most popular Hermès bag. Arguably, Birkin is the most important and powerful creation in the label's entire existence. A modern clientele. In Hermès' timeline, there is a pre- and post-Birkin era. Historically, Hermès clients used to consist of royals, aristocrats, and patrons. Among them, the Tsars of Russia like Nicholas II and the British royal family like Queen Elizabeth II. The Birkin bag ushered the fashion house in the modern times. It opened new markets and introduced the brand to a new type of clientele, like actresses and socialites. Jane Birkin definitely played a key role in Hermès' repositioning by making the label more relevant. Nowadays, the Birkin is more coveted by the current generation of A-listers and stars. Victoria Beckham, for example, owns an impressive 100 versions of it. Jennifer Lopez even wears her Birkin paired with sweatpants. It also became a staple of celebrity signature accessories. Several Hollywood names like the Olsen twins, Kate Moss, Lady Gaga, Cardi B, Miley Cyrus, Chrissy Teigen are constantly caught by the paparazzi wearing the iconic bag. More importantly, the Kardashians have introduced Hermès and the Birkin in particular to the social media influencers era, thus giving it a new lease of life. Hyped by closet tours. If we talk about influencers, we have to talk about social media trends. Today, there are many Birkin and Kelly bags unboxing videos on YouTube. For those who don't know, unboxing is when clients share their first impressions of their latest purchases. Another genre that gained attraction in the last couple of years is the closet tours. It is where interviewed celebrities, influencers, and socialites showcase their wardrobes. Most of the time, they have shelves, closets, or even entire vaults dedicated to their Hermès handbags collections. This type of videos collectively reaches millions and millions of views. But why is that the case? Well, it is pretty straightforward. Contrary to popular belief, we don't follow celebrities to escape our daily routine. We follow them with the hope of reaching a more flashy and glamorous life. We mimic their consumption patterns and purchase their products. Therefore, the latest surge in demand for the Birkin shouldn't come as a surprise. The internet generated a situation where demand significantly outgrows supply. And of course, third parties stood to benefit from it. This is how second-hand and vintage specialized shops spurred on the scene. In a need to put their hands on the latest status symbol of fashionable accessories, many clients are turned into luxury resale specialized websites like Vestiaire Collectif and The Real Real. Also, visiting shops like Love Luxury that went viral with their Hermès handbags, repurchasing and reselling videos. They are shot in store and feature clients, therefore highlighting the emotional aspect of the Hermès experience. The shared content has accumulated over 3.5 billion combined views across the social media platforms. For reference, Squid Game has only 265,200,000 views on Netflix. These pre-loved handbags are gaining traction because old bags from the 1980s are rare to find. They are family heirlooms. They tend to be passed down from mother to daughter. And when it comes to the more recent handbags, waiting lists are a killer. The infamous waiting lists. In fact, the wait can be anything from 8 months to 6 years. Unfortunately for the newcomers, the waiting lists are designed to give priority to previous clients. With such a ranking system, getting waitlisted isn't as easy as it may sound. Man's popularity led to the emergence of a third genre of online content around the luxury house. A quick search on Google or YouTube shows you tips on how to get your name on the waiting list or how to even bypass it entirely. The most famous trick to get higher on the list is to pre-spend the price of a Birkin on other leather items like the popular Hermès sandals. If the math is mathing, this should be about 14 pairs of sandals. Contrary to popular perception, the waiting lists don't intentionally create artificial scarcity. They were unofficially introduced out of necessity and logistical constraints. So why do these lists even exist? Previously, all Hermès bags used to be immediately bought on site. They were made by 50 skilled artisans at the main atelier. The main atelier is still located above the flagship store on 24 Rue de Faubourg Saint-Honoré in the 8th arrondissement of Paris. By the mid-2000s, they were unable to keep up with the demand. Today, the production is dispatched to all ateliers, but the level of demand is so high that having 4,000 artisans isn't enough to satisfy all of their clients. Knowing that each handbag is crafted by a single experienced maker from A to Z, the label will never be able to satisfy demand due to production constraints. Compromising quality over quantity is a dilemma that Hermès doesn't want to remotely entertain. It seems that the situation will remain the same for a while.
Hi, my name is Asel. I'm a lawyer. I purchased my Birkin about 5 years ago. It's a classic gold Togo Birkin 30, the brown one. In my job, it's important to present yourself powerfully, and I believe this bag does just that. I usually style it, but low relax it without locking it, as I have all my work-related things there, like a laptop and notepad. I'm also mother of 3, so I usually have some kids' items on me as well. It's disaster usually, but Birkin does a great job covering it. I went for this exact model because you can wear it both on work event, on weekend, putting on some fine, fun charms, as my daughters always beg me to. It goes well with everything, and after waiting for quite a while, it was a treasure I finally got, and now I'm enjoying my every minute on it.
Crafting a Birkin. But why is the process so complex? I'm sure that some of you are intrigued to know how these precious handbags are made. Fear not, we've got you covered. We found a detailed explanation. Listen in carefully. It takes about 40 hours to craft a Birkin. First, the highest quality tanned leather is closely reviewed for the tiniest of flaws. Any imperfection will be cut away. Symmetrical pieces are carefully cut and laid out. They are locked together by using the Hermès trademark double saddle stitch. The stitching phase requires suspending the bag and using the wooden clamp to hold it. The two-needle process, devised by founder Thierry Hermès, is quite strong. It is designed to deal with the unluckiest of scenarios. This design is so ingenious that if a stitch becomes broken, the others remain unaffected. Once stitched together, the seams are gently tapped with a hammer to ensure that they don't stand out too much. The following step is sanding and shaving each seam to create a perfectly smooth finish. It is also coated in beeswax. This substance is applied with a dual purpose in mind, to waterproof the bag and make it pleasing to the touch. Regarding the handles, they are made out of 4 or 5 layers of compressed leather. The artisan places them across their thighs to create the perfect shape. The final step involves attaching the hardware. The craftsmen don't use screws for that process because they may loosen over time. They opt for a more secure in-house process known as purling. A clasp is placed on the front of the leather and a piece of metal at the back. A nail is then inserted from behind and clipped before being tapped with a special tool into a pearl-like shape, thus fastening 2 pieces of metal together. Once the bag is finished, it is closely examined for any defects before being sold. Faulty and defective bags are destroyed. The craftsmanship and design aspects of a Birkin from Hermès. It is not a bag, it is an asset. What you should also know is that the faulty bags are destroyed because Birkin's value isn't solely based on the cost of raw material, labor, and capital. It reflects the brand's status and the investment that the client would be making via this purchase. The process might explain the current price tag of $10,000, but inflation, environmental concerns, and worldwide insecurity play a role in the final price as well. A Birkin's value changes with time. In the last 2 years, the price of the Birkin has increased by around 9%. Since the 1980s, the resale value of Birkin bags has increased by 500%. And any trader would assure you that's an insane return on investment. Therefore, owners are encouraged to keep them in a pristine condition to preserve their market value. The potential financial rewards represent a key advantage that is putting Hermès on par with other forms of safe assets like gold and real estate. As a result, Birkin has a major attractive power for Arab women. As mothers teach their daughters to always have valuables that can easily turn into cash in times of need at arm's reach, their preferred investment is buying fashionable, travel-friendly, luxurious accessories like diamonds and watches. It is their vision of a financial security net. That is why the Birkin is one of the best-selling bags in the Middle East. When a car goes out of a dealership, it starts to lose value. Every kilometer traveled drives its price down. The same rationale applies to handbags. A bag's value starts depreciating the moment it leaves the store. If you are choosing to invest in a Birkin bag and wish to retain its value for the longest amount of time, keep these tips in mind. First, avoid highly customizable details and flashy colors. Second, opt for original hardware finishes. Stick to classic colors or rare collector's releases to maximize the reselling price. Third, buy from reputable sellers. Enlist the services of an expert to authenticate the piece in question. Fourth, check the original accessories and invoices. Fifth, if you have to entrust a third party to refreshen the leather, please ensure that they are qualified to handle such valuable items. Finally, it would be a good idea to consult reselling experts before making any big purchases. At the end of the day, only reckless investors buy stocks without consulting financial advisors. Buying a Birkin is not buying a mere handbag. It is a journey with many emotional and financial aspects at stake. The Birkin has already lasted 40 years, and it will definitely stay around for another 40. The next time someone tries to put your Birkin under girl maps, you can just shrug them off because you know for a fact that it's much more than that.